Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action. I'm here today with TRETCH, the legendary lord that you probably, or not probably, maybe forgot was in the game. I know at least a handful of you wrote in the comments of a previous video that you didn't even know that TRETCH was a thing, but here he is. He's anti-large, got charge defense, pretty low HP, but he does have Vanguard here. He's hidden in the forest, got this TRETCH's Raiders, which is a little ability that gives plus 9 melee attack, and 12% weapon and AP if a unit is winning that's nearby. He's got Verminous Valor, Standard Die, typical stuff. This is actually up against Italian Spartacus. This is the second of two battles that we played, Skaven versus Vampire Counts. So the two of us plus Felcon were all hanging out in chat. Italian Spartacus was getting some coaching from Felcon and from myself as well. Just doing some practice games here. We played a couple games. I casted one previously. That was the no DLC build for the Dark Elves, I want to say. And then we did a few Skaven games as well. So be sure to check out Italian Spartacus' channel if you want to see the rest of the games that we played. But for this one, yeah, we've got Skaven versus the spooky Vampire Counts. I've got a Plague Priest here, Council Guard with the Clan Tail Slashers here. We've got Warp Grinders, that is, Poison Wind Mortars, 4 units of Rat Ogres, a single group of Flayers, some Clan Rat Spears here, and then TRETCH, along with the Ixchus Triads in Hidden Vanguard there. As for Italian's army, decided to have some fun and take a couple of Ethereal units, and both myself and Felcon said, this is probably not a good idea, but hey, you can have fun and try and take them anyway. Ethereal units are very risky against the Skaven because they have a lot of magic damage, but 2 Cairn Wraiths, got 2 Corpse Carts with Unholy Lodestones here, a Strigoi on foot, Necromancer, some Grave Guard, 3 of them, including the Sternsmen. We've got 3 Crypt Horrors as well, front line of zombies, 1 flank here of some Dire Wolves. And yeah, they're just going to be going straight forward, infantry rush style. Of course, the Poisoned Wind Mortars do a bit of magic damage with that damage over time effect. They're going to rain in here. This is the summoned Ixchus Triads here, so I'm not too worried about them taking that damage. We're going to kind of spread that dot around as much as I can as well. You can see kind of raining in here and there, and just hopefully tagging as many of these enemy units as we can. And we do manage to tag that unit of Cairn Wraiths, which is nice. It's also kind of operating over on this flank where I have my Plague Priest, which of course does magic damage with its Mortis style effect. So that'll be pretty good. You can see they're going to blob in there. This frontline engagement, all dirty, just blobbing, getting underway here. On both sides, all of the effects going off, and the Corpse Cart is one thing that you guys have heard me talk about if you've watched any of my Vampire Counts videos. Corpse Carts are very, very essential for these types of engagements because they give you that constant +5/+5 on all of your units, making them trade a lot more cost efficiently. Not to mention the healing from the Unholy Lodestones is also very, very nice as well. Over here, I'm using these Warp Grinders to lock down this flank, pin in a lot of these units since they were starting to break through and try and get at those mortars, using the reserves of Rat Ogres to then run in here, Council Guard as well. So although this flank is going not amazingly well, we've still been able to hold up, considering that we're outnumbered, which for the Skaven is never really a good position to be in. We are a little bit outnumbered here. I'm going to keep the summons coming, but still just kind of fighting over on this flank, holding the line for the time being, and keeping those Poison Wind Mortars free is going to be pretty key for me. With a lot of these units, for me, getting terrified away, it's not too bad to shoot into this blob here, and that's kind of the name of the game, is anywhere where blobs form that I can shoot in without doing too much damage to my own units, that's going to be the ideal target for that Poison Wind to try and rack up some damage. I believe it's actually bugged out right now, and the dot doesn't give you any XP chevrons or count for kills or anything like that, but that's just how it goes. Over here, TRETCH is fighting desperately. He's a little bit pinned in by ghosts here, but thankfully these Ixchus Triads are here. They're doing quite a bit of damage to the Unholy Lodestone that's over on this side. But then I come in here and do some nice friendly fire. Yep, I do manage to tag them with that dot effect, which is not the best. Their low model count and low HP means they'll take quite a bit of damage. And a nice ghoul summon in the back line here to try and go after those Poison Wind Mortars. So definitely kind of a wash on both sides so far. Neither of us taking a clear advantage here, but that Poison Wind effect is eventually able to break through along with the Flayers here and start to actually crumble away some of the units on this flank. The Plague Priest, of course, just all these different kind of AoE damage effects. I guess the Flayers themselves are an absolute unit AoE damage effect, right? Ixchia's Triad's still doing okay. TRETCH is also doing okay. If we check in cinematic cam here, we haven't gotten too many cinematic shots so far, so oh, that's nice. Shadows in the woods there with Unholy Lodestone. Ixchia's Triads holding out desperately with TRETCH in their midst. You can barely even see him. I feel like people forgetting about TRETCH is kind of loreful, though, right? Like, he would actually prefer if you just forgot about him so that he can come backstab you later, right? Yeah, anyway, Poison Wind going to be continuing to fire in. We've got some Warp Grinders back from route, but I'm really running out of units to keep this Poison Wind protected. We're just about out of ammo, though, so if I can keep it online for a little bit longer, we should be able to use up the rest of the ammunition there. A couple of those globes hitting the cairn rates, which is really my main target here. That HP damage on these spooky ghosts is going to be pretty significant. The Ixchia's Triads, were they actually routing away here? It looks like, oh, they're still fighting. That corpse cart did go down, and TRETCH is going to make his way back up the hill here to rally some of those rat ogres and the spears, screening out the direwolves from getting on my warp grinders there. Yeah, the globes again repositioning to try and stay safe. Over here, the Plague Priest is playing bumper cars with Unholy Lodestone, and really not super efficient for me. Probably should have detached this Plague Priest to come up over here and start draining some of these big blobs, rather than fighting kind of low model count units over here, but such as it is, we'll continue on. We've got Poison Winds continuing to shoot here. These zombies are actually the target, I believe. Just, again, just hitting any of these things in this general vicinity is going to be nice, especially getting those multiple damage over time effects, you know, stacking the crumbling with that Poison Wind just to really finish those units off very quickly. An effective strategy against the undead for sure. Warp Grinders here getting another snare. Bailing out TRETCH, who unfortunately had gotten tangled up with the Strigoi there and is really getting the south end of things. Likewise, the Ixchia's Triads have taken a lot of damage. We do use the second decoy summon here to try and pin in the Strigoi, but he's a slippery fellow. He's going to get loose from there. Meanwhile, over on this side, we've got some Rat Ogres rallying over here. There's still a few Crypt Horrors fighting, unfortunately. They've been able to just regenerate through the crumbling damage really well. And despite the fact that I necessarily dedicated a lot of direct resources, but still, even just fighting Clan Rat Spears, you would think they're not going to trade super efficiently. But as it is, they're continuing to fight basically till the end here. This Unholy Lodestone as well, still online, can potentially provide some healing in the late game. But really, for me, it's just about keeping TRETCH safe from the Strigoi, using my other resources to just tie him down as much as I can to finish off the rest of the army. Don't actually have that many great tools for dealing with the Strigoi at this point. He does technically count as large. Nope, he counts as infantry, so TRETCH doesn't even get his bonus versus large against him, which is just really, really bad. That's not a fight that I want to take with TRETCH at all. Yeah, so we're going to try and just not take it here. This other unit of Can Race has no choice, really, but to try and fight with the Plague Priest here. I mean, I guess they could have gone to fight the Council Guard over here. It may have been a better option. Come over here, support the Council Guard, support the Stearnsman against the Council Guard there. But, hey, it's all good. We'll keep it nice and close here. As the Necromancer fights with the Strigoi. These handful of remaining spooky vampire units left. Plague Priest, though, of course, continuing to billow away. And the few Council Guard fighting with these Stearnsmen over here. We'll soak up a little bit of this as well. These two units, very elite infantry regiments of renown, just slugging it out tooth and nail here. I would have to give this one to the Stearnsman, but oh, a nice globe shot comes in there. Of course, hits both sides because that's just the Skaven way. But yeah, that should send the Stearnsman into crumbling, whereas the Council Guard being unbreakable, even just a couple of them can still come over here and provide that Guardian effect. Not that TRETCH will survive long enough to get it, though. He is currently tangled up with the ghouls and not happy about his life decisions. Just running for his life here. Gets a little staggered there. Will he actually be able to get away? He's running. Oh, he's running. Oh, no. No. Oh, he's gone. There was a little bit of a whimper there and a struggle, but he's gone. And that's not the best. That definitely puts the vampire counts heavily in favor and turns the balance of power. But even still, I've got this Plague Priest, which the animations on it are going to be actually very hard for the Strigoi to deal with because he's on foot. He's just going to get constantly staggered. Likewise, the corpse cart here is going to get continually chipped away at these clan rats. There's 10 storm vermin as well, giving this plague priest a little bit of physical resistance. 10 of these little council guard here, so we'll watch a little bit of this cinematic, but I'm going to need to fast forward through quite a bit of this because, yeah, this goes on for some time, let's say. We'll go ahead and put it in fast forward, and you guys can see exactly for how long this goes on. But because, again, the Strigoi is on foot, he gets permanently stagger locked, basically, by the cart animations here. He doesn't really take that much damage, but he is getting close to his healing cap here. It's not, you know, it's a little bit of anti-infantry AP on the Plague Priest. It's not amazing, but he can do a tiny bit of damage here and there. We've got a zombie summon from the Necromancer, but here, this last Council Guard with 10 HP, whoop, some zombies come flying in from the side screen there, but this one Council Guard is fighting this Necromancer, and he has been fighting him just, you know, claw and teeth and everything, and finally that Necromancer takes him down, but he actually forced that Necromancer into crumbling just about. Necromancer's now recovered his leadership there, but yeah, that true hero of the Horned Rat there, lasting until the very end, almost beating that Necromancer. Like, Italian and I were in chat, like, oh, is he gonna win? That Necromancer is he gonna get beaten? I actually get the Poison Wind Mortars back from route. They're gonna come in here and apply a rear attack penalty, technically. They don't really have any combat stats to speak of. Oh, they forced the Necromancer to crumble by looking at him. Then they come in here, and can I actually take home the win here? The balance of power still not looking great, and if I take like 1 or 2 hits from the Strigoi, it's over. Basically, it's all up to RNG at this point if I can get some hits or not. I try and proc the charge animation again here, but that ends up being a little bit of a mistake as I do take a couple hits, and just barely, by the skin on his teeth, that Strigoi Vampire Lord manages to rout that cart. So how about that, huh? Photo finish there for Italian. Super close battle and a very, very fun one. One of the closest battles I played to date, I have to say. That was down to the absolute wire. I was really hoping that the Hoopty cart would pull through at the end there, but yeah, it wasn't quite enough. Strigoi just a bit too swole, as they say. So yeah, in terms of the breakdown here, obviously the Council Guard racking up some heavy lifting. Even the Ixchis Triads, considering their low model count, 62 is actually a pretty good number of kills. It helped take down some high-value targets as well, and the Doppelgang Summon, of course, just excellent, utility, I should say. It's super, super useful. Rat Ogres also did pretty good. The Poison Wind Mortars ended up getting a ton of kills. Really like these guys against Undead factions, because again, if you can kind of hit units that are already crumbling with that dot effect, they'll disappear really, really quickly. You can definitely just kind of avalanche the HP damage at that point. Yeah, the Flayers did a great job. Just this build in general, I think if I were to fine-tune a few things, might come in here and try and take the ROR, what are they called? The Blight Scav's Plague Pack, the ROR, Sensor Bears, and likewise, I mean, TRETCH is okay. He's definitely a meme. I honestly think this type of build would be decent with Queek. Because of Queek's debuff and the fact that he actually has really good combat stats, you can definitely go after enemy lords and heroes a lot more aggressively with Queek and not necessarily be quite so afraid. TRETCH is really just the fearful lord that if you want to try and not die, then he's the one. I sometimes call him a tank archetype lord, even though he's really not a tank. He doesn't have self-healing. He has good melee defense, but he has pretty low HP. 70 melee defense is really good, though. Charge defense versus large, he has a little bit of anti-large and decent overall weapon strength. 25 bonus versus large, which is pretty decent. But just that low HP is a bit of a problem. He can hide himself as well with this stay here, I'll get help, which gives everyone else leadership around him and gives him himself stock and unspottable. He also has Vanguard, so I mean, if for whatever reason you don't want to take a good lord like Snitch or the Master Assassin, you can take TRETCH if you really feel like it. But yeah, basically he just tries not to die very well, but does a worse job at it than other lords, so you might as well take someone else. That's TRETCH in a nutshell, so hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this one. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.